Hello everyone, Giltar here with another video on toy customization tips. This time we'll be looking at disassembly of parts that are secured by glue or cement. Now, in many cases of toy disassembly, removing of pins and removing of screwed in pieces is not difficult. Even with the metal pin situation, in my two previous videos covering capped metal pins or flathead metal pins, as well as just straight normal metal pins, the methods for removing those bits are pretty simple as long as you know what to do. And it is a similar case with glued together toy parts, except for the cases in which there really is no standard. I have two examples of toy parts that take fairly different approaches to gluing the parts together. On the right side is the missile launcher for the Beast Hunters Voyager class Optimus Prime toy. On the left side is the head for the Generations Deluxe class Fall of Cybertron Jazz toy. Now in both of these cases there is a bit of glue holding the parts together, and if you were to take a look at them, you would see no metal pin, you would see no screw. Essentially, at most, if you take a really close look, you would see a seam line. And that's your clue for how a part is secured. If there is no visible means of connection via metal pin or metal screw, as long as you can find a seam line somewhere, that's your giveaway. Very similarly with the Jazz head, many Transformers toys, for example, will use a metal screw to secure the clear plastic light piping bit to the back of the head. This is an example where such a thing does not exist, so you have to take alternative methods in order to separate it. Now, a lot of people will actually recommend cracking open the part. They'll recommend using something like a utility knife or an X-Acto knife or something extremely thin and sharp in order to essentially wedge its way in. The thinking behind that is definitely sound. However, you're taking a big risk in terms of damaging the parts. Even with minimal damage, you're still sort of digging into the plastic material, and you are compromising, at the very least, the appearance of the toy's part from at least certain angles. My personal philosophy is when it comes to disassembly, I always try to find the method or approach that will give me either the least amount of damage or totally avoid damage. And today's tip actually involves using heat through the application of a hair dryer to basically heat up the plastic as well as the cement within. And when that happens, the glue, or the cement rather, will loosen up. It will actually start becoming malleable, and it will make it very easy to separate parts. Now, this can sometimes be an involved method. You can't just simply pull things apart. Sometimes it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of finessing and fiddling around with the parts in order to totally free the plastic from the cemented or glued in areas. So just to show you the Jazz head, for example, what you can do after blow drying it is you can actually wiggle the bottom here, the neck joint, and actually it will start freeing up the cement and plastic bits. And there's a certain point where you can actually even feel the visor give, because it is a part of the light piping, and if you just push it through slightly, it'll actually give an opening at the top. And by using something slight like this flathead screwdriver, you can actually wedge it in and then free it, and that allows you to pull out the parts. Minimal, actually no damage in this case, and now you can properly clean the parts, prep them for painting, and basically you're not going to damage anything. So that's one example. The second example of using the missile launcher, I did the same thing. I basically found out that these ends here, these are basically caps, and you need to free them. However, they're glued in fairly securely. So what I did was I used a hairdryer, once again, to apply the heat, warm up the plastic, warm up the glue, destabilize it, and after that point, you can basically just pull off the ends, and you will see a seam running down the middle. So you just basically split it like that, and you take it apart. No damage. You can free all the parts. Again, clean everything, get it ready for painting, prep it up, and there you go. And once you're done, you basically put everything back together, and you can reseal it with your choice of glue. And that's basically it. It's a more I think, efficient method of approaching this. Using the traditional cracking method takes, I think, a fairly, considerable amount of time, and it doesn't really save you any time, and it could cause you more grief, and really, in those cases, potentially cause you harm if you slip and cut yourself using your utility knife or X-Acto knife. So basically, that's it. Anytime you find anything that's glued together, try heating it up first, and basically steadily but gradually work the components apart, and eventually they'll give, and again, you're going to avoid all damage. So I hope this tip was helpful to all of you out there who might have struggled or even didn't even want to approach glued together parts before. Now you know how to take them apart. So I hope that was useful. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a great day, and see you at the next video.